Hey folks, want to jump on here and shoot a quick solo podcast. This one's going to be about Airwallex. If you've never heard of it before, that is no problem. Let's get into the show. So Airwallex is an Australian founded financial technology fintech company that helps businesses manage money globally. What Airwallex is essentially a global payments and financial platform for businesses. It lets companies operate internationally without needing multiple bank accounts or complex financial setups. Key things it offers: international payments, send/receive money worldwide, multi-currency accounts, hold and convert different currencies, corporate cards and expense management, online payment gateways for e-commerce, SaaS, etc., APIs for developers to embed financial services. Think of it as a, quote, financial operating system, end quote, for global businesses. Background: founded 2015 in Melbourne. Founders include Jack Zhang, now headquartered in Singapore and San Francisco, serves 150K to 200K plus businesses globally, valued at approximately US 6+ billion. One of Australia's biggest fintech startups. Why companies use it? Businesses use Airwallex to avoid high bank FX fees, pay suppliers overseas easily, collect payments from customers in different countries, manage global finances in one place. It's especially popular with startups, e-commerce brands, and SaaS companies expanding internationally. Simple way to think about it: traditional banks, slow, expensive for global business. Airwallex, modern, digital alternative for cross-border operations. Let's go over to google.gemini.com. Airwallex is a leading financial technology fintech company, which we briefly talked about, that provides cross-border payment solutions and financial infrastructure for businesses. Founded in Melbourne 2015, we briefly touched upon that or talked about it. It has grown into a global, quote, unicorn, end quote, by solving a specific, expensive problem: the high fees and slow speeds of traditional international banking. Instead of relying on the aging SWIFT network for every move, Airwallex has built its own proprietary global payment network. Core product suite: feature global accounts. What it does: open local currency accounts, USD or GBP, etc., in minutes without a physical presence in those countries. FX and transfers: exchange currencies at international rates, usually much cheaper than big banks, and send money to 150 plus countries. Multi-currency cards: issue virtual or physical corporate cards to employees with built-in expense management and zero international transaction fees. Online payments: a gateway for e-commerce like Stripe that allows merchants to accept 160 plus payment methods globally. Embedded finance: APIs that let other companies build financial features like card issuing directly into their own software. Why businesses use it? The primary, quote, hook, end quote, for Airwallex is cost and speed. Traditional banks often charge 3 to 5% markup on exchange rates plus fixed wire fees. Airwallex typically charges a much smaller transparent margin, often around 0.5 to 1%, and moves money faster by using local clearing systems rather than international wires. Key distinction: Airwallex is technically a payment service provider, PSP, and an electronic money institution, EMI, not a traditional bank. This means while they hold and move your money securely, they don't lend it out or offer traditional savings interest in the same way a commercial bank does. If we continue and go over to Claude, Airwallex, a multinational fintech company, which talked about it already in 2015 in Melbourne. It was founded, providing global payments through its API and proprietary financial infrastructure. Services include businesses accounts, expense cards, payroll, and investment products. Scaling growth: Airwallex annualized revenue surpassed 1 billion in October 2025, up 90% year on year, with annualized transaction volume doubling to more than $235 billion. The source is Airwallex. As of end of 2025, the platform is processing over $266 billion in transaction volume annually, with over 95% of transactions routing through local payment rails across 127 countries. Funding and valuation. I think that's the company is processing over US 266 billion in annualized transaction volume based on Airwallex 2025 end of year mission update. Key details: currency. The figure is in US dollars, USD context. This represents the total value of transactions processed through the Airwallex platform globally, reported in December 2025 and early 2026. Scale. In addition to this volume, Airwallex reportedly a 1.2 billion annual recurring revenue ARR as part of early 2026. And let's go back over to Claude. Funding and valuation, which we talked about. We talked about the scale and growth. The funding and valuation, Airwallex was valued at 8 billion, let's go with USD for the moment, following a 330 million Series G round, which I feel like we've spoken about this before on another episode. In December 2025, roughly 30% above its 6.2 billion Series F valuation from just 6 months earlier. Global expansion. In 2025, Airwallex extended its regulated footprint into 12 new markets, including France, the Netherlands, Israel, Canada, Korea, Japan, New Zealand, Malaysia, Vietnam, Brazil, Mexico, and the UAE. In conjunction with the Series G, Airwallex established San Francisco as a dual global headquarters alongside Melbourne, with plans to double its US headcount to more than 400 employees over the next 12 months. Key products. The platform lets companies receive, hold, pay, and manage money in multiple currencies from one place. Its multi-currency yield product offers returns on ideal balances approached $1 billion USD in funds under management by the end of 2025, representing more than 6x year-on-year growth. Controversy. In December 2025, Airwallex was accused of handling sensitive American user data to Chinese government officials in a way that could, quote, create legal obligations to assist with CCP espionage upon request, end quote. This source is Wikipedia, but it's on Claude.ai. Super interesting. Let's go over to ChatGPT again. Airwallex versus Wise versus Stripe. Airwallex, best for global business. Wise, best for simplicity. Stripe, best for online payments. Simple recommendation: use Airwallex if you run a business with international customers, suppliers, or growth plans. By the way, I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. Use Wise if you just want cheap, easy transfers, freelancer/side hustle. Use Stripe if you need advanced checkouts, subscriptions, or developer control. Quick decision shortcut: global plus scaling, Airwallex. Simple plus cheap, Wise. Payments plus dev heavy, Stripe. We'll go over to gemini.google.com again. Airwallex has evolved significantly from its origins as a cross-border FX tool. In 2026, it is positioning itself as a, quote, global treasury hub, end quote, that competes directly with both traditional enterprise banks and modern fintech giants like Stripe and Revolut. The platform is currently processing over US 266 billion in annual transaction volume, reflecting its shift from a startup favorite to a serious contender for large-scale enterprise finance. What's new in 2026? Airwallex has introduced several, quote, agentic, end quote, and high-yield features over the last 12 months that separate it from the standard business account. Number one, Airwallex Yield Treasury Management. This is their standout product for 2026. Instead of letting ideal cash sit in a 0% interest business account, Yield allows you to move funds into AAA rated money market funds managed by JP Morgan. Currencies supported: USD, HKD, Euro, and G. Liquidity? You got that? Yeah, I think it says liquidity. Haven't used that term on the show yet. I don't think so. Liquidity funds generally settle back into your cash balance within 2 business hours, making it liquid enough for payroll or vendor payments. Returns as of March 2026, US yields are hovering around 3.60 or 3.60%, while GBP is at least 3.56% net of fees. Number three, AI native finance ops. Airwallex recently launched its AI assistant, which moves beyond simple chatbots. It can now execute tasks. You can ask it to, quote, open a USD global account, end quote, or, quote, create a virtual card for my designer, end quote, directly in the interface. Expense policy agent automatically reviews every employee reimbursement claim against your company policy, flagging duplicates or non-compliant spending in real time. Number three, deepening global infrastructure. Hopefully this is all correct. I'm pretty sure it is. You have to double check, but they are aggressively moving away from the Swift network to reduce costs for users. Local rails. Over 95% of transactions now route through local payment rails, across 127 countries, with 94% settling the same day. New markets recently secured full stack e-money and Class E licenses in Malaysia and expanded global account coverage to Israel, Brazil, and Vietnam. 2026 quick comparison: Airwallex versus the competition. Feature best for Airwallex: multi-entity global trade and treasury, Stripe developers, and complex SaaS billing. Revolut business, SMEs, and teams needing a, quote, end quote, app. Feature FX markup: Airwallex 0.5% to 1%. Interbank. Stripe high, standard approximately 2%. Revolut business low, competitive, but often capped. Feature settlement: Airwallex same day in 20 plus currencies. Stripe usually 2 to 7 days. Revolut business instant within Revolut ecosystem. Feature treasury: Airwallex integrated yield JPM funds. Stripe minimal / partner based. Revolut business savings / flex accounts. The, quote, hidden, end quote, advantage like settlement for e-commerce brands. Airwallex biggest technical win is avoiding forced convert. If you sell in USD and need to pay a supplier in USD, Airwallex lets you hold that revenue in its original currency. Transactional processors often force a conversation to your, quote, home, end quote, currency, and then another conversation or another, conversion, not conversation. We'll continue back to pay. I'll just set that again. Traditional processors often force a conversion to your, quote, home, end quote, currency, and then another conversion back to pay the supplier, costing you roughly 3 to 4% hidden fees. I think that's most things. We're coming up on 15 minutes. One big thing that makes Airwallex stand out is this, quote, all-in-one global financial platform, end quote. Instead of doing one job like transfers or payments, Airwallex combines everything a global business needs in one system. Why that's a big deal: most competitors are limited. Wise transfer only, Stripe payments only. Airwallex does both plus more. Multi-currency accounts, international payments, FX, currency exchange, expense cards, payment processing, all in one platform, not separate tools. The simple takeaway: Airwallex isn't just a payment app, it's financial infrastructure for global businesses. Why businesses care: no need for multiple bank accounts, lower FX costs, operate like a local or, quote, local business, end quote, in many countries, manage everything from one dashboard. In one sentence, Airwallex's biggest strength is that it replaces banks plus FX services plus payment gateways with a single global system. I think that's it. Just wanted to come on and talk about this business. I thought it's fascinating. I'm seeing this logo on, I think they sponsor a AFL team. Airwallex does have an NFL sponsorship, and it's actually a big one. Airwallex AFL sponsorship 2026, partner the Essendon Football Club, the Bombers. Airwallex is a co-major sponsor of Essendon. Their logo is on the front of the AFL Guernsey jersey. It's a multi-year deal starting in 2026. Also includes branding across match day, digital channels, club media. The front of the jersey spot is one of the most valuable sponsorship positions in the AFL. More than just a logo, this isn't just advertising. Airwallex is also the club's financial software partner, providing corporate cards, expense management, payment systems. Edison actually uses Airwallex internationally, or internally, excuse me, to run finances more efficiently. Why this matters, it's Airwallex first major Australian sports sponsorship, big brand move, fintech, mainstream visibility, connects a Melbourne startup iconic AFL team. Simple takeaway, Airwallex is now a front of jersey sponsor in the AFL, which is a top tier, high visibility deal, not a small sponsorship. And they have a few other ones, a few other big global sponsorship, or they have a big global sponsorship portfolio, especially in sports. The AFL deal is just a part of it. Another major one is Formula One, McLaren Racing, official partner of McLaren F1 team, branding on F1 cars, halo plus livery. Or livery? Yeah, I think that's the same thing. Team gear, also used by McLaren for global payments and financial operations. This is their biggest global sponsorship, huge reach, F1, approximately 1.5 billion audience. English Premier League, Arsenal FC, official financial software partner, branding at Emirates Stadium, digital plus global campaigns, also supports payments and financial systems for the club. Big move into global football audience. Super Rugby, the Blues, NZ Blues Rugby, major sponsor in New Zealand, branding across match days, digital platforms, focus, expanding presence in NZ market. MLB, San Francisco Giants jersey patch sponsor like AFL Guernsey logo, also official financial software partner, appears on MLB uniforms during games. AFL, we talked about that already. Essendon, what's the strategy? Airwallex is doing something very intentional, pattern global sports with huge international audiences, teams that operate across multiple countries, partnerships where they also provide their financial tech, not just ads. They integrate into how the teams run money. Simple takeaway, Airwallex is using top tier global sports, F1, EPL, MLB, AFL to become a worldwide brand, not just an Aussie fintech. That's fascinating. Let's see how it goes over the next while. And just we'll go back to the initial one thing. Simple takeaway, that the one big takeaway that makes Airwallex stand out is this, quote, all-in-one global financial platform, end quote. Instead of just doing one job like transfers or payments, Airwallex combines everything a global business needs in one system. And then we talked a bit about why it's a big deal. The simple takeaway, Airwallex isn't just a payment app, it's a financial infrastructure for global business. Why businesses care, no need for multiple bank accounts, lower FX costs, operate like a, quote, local business, end quote, in many countries, manage everything from one dashboard. In one sentence, Airwallex's biggest strength is that it replaces banks plus FX services plus payment gateways with a single global system. I think that's it. I think that's everything. Thanks for listening, folks. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and feel free to leave a review, or you can follow along or leave a review. And if you're over on YouTube, you can subscribe as well if you're getting some value from the show. And thanks for listening.